This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the only one media group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Whodini Blak Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeart Radio and YouTube Live. We're also streaming on Twitch TV, Roku TV as well. So I appreciate you guys for always tuning in and checking out the show. It is much appreciated, very much appreciated. Before we invite our guest on, I just want to say don't lose sight. This is the frequency of the fearless. You know, there are professional people under till they actually what happens behind the scenes and childcare them, because from the outside, people finger painting, snack, nap time, and smiling children. But behind those doors, there are great unexpected crises, difficult conversations, exhaustion, aggression, and sacrifice. In moments so unbelievable, almost they happen if someone didn't live through them personally. Well, tonight's guest has spent over 35 years in childcare, not just children, but navigating family, emotions, unpredictable situations, and life lessons no classroom ever prepare someone for. This conversation is about resilience, patience, faith, human behavior, and the emotional reality of showing up every day to care for other people's children. Because sometimes the people shaping the next generation are carrying stories nobody hears. Well, you're not just here for a talk. This isn't just radio. This is revival for your mind, body. This is Vigilantes Radio Live. My name is Coach Whodini, and change is awesome.
You're listening to the Vigilantes podcast on iHeart Radio. I'm Mo, founder and owner of Noah Guy Heating and Air Conditioning. We're giving away 12 free HVAC systems this year, and if you or someone you know needs one, apply now at noaguyhvac.com. To grow this mission, we're also seeking sponsors and donations. So let's change lives one system at a time. This is Vigilantes Podcast on iHeart Radio.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's guest has spent more than 3 decades caring for children, supporting families, and navigating the unpredictable realities of life inside the childcare world. Miss D, Daycare Director with over 35 years of experience working with children, also an author, speaker, and child trainer. Her work shines a light on emotional, chaotic, humorous, and deeply human realities behind daycare life. Through her book, Daycare Chronicles, Can't Make This Ish Up, Miss D pulls back the curtain on the unbelievable true stories, difficult moments, powerful lessons, and unexpected breakthroughs that shaped her journey in childcare. Her stories reveal not only the challenges of caring for children and managing families, but also resilience, faith, the compassion, and the purpose required to continue showing up day after day. What makes her voice so powerful is that these stories aren't fictional exaggeration. And if you read some of them, you're like, what? I know, right? That's how I was. But they are lived experience that prove truth is often stranger than fiction. So, join me in saying, welcome, friend, to Miss D. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Right, that is great to hear. All right, for our listeners that are watching, listening, either by the radio or the podcast, the live stream, introduce yourself. Tell them just a little bit about your background.
Sure, my name is Dochingozi Houey, but everyone calls me Miss D. I have been working in childcare now for 39 years. I built a beautiful daycare where we are teaching our children not just the alphabets and numbers and shapes, but we're also teaching them how to learn, how to retain, and things of that nature. We're also a faith-based care. So yes, we are praying with our kids and making sure that they understand that God is the foundation.
I love that, praying with the children, especially since our public education has virtually basically kicked God out of the classroom.
Yeah.
So what made you continue to add faith to the childcare?
Well, it's just simply walking through life and knowing that nothing can go further than God allows it to. And knowing that it's because of my faith that I've made it as far as I have. So it's definitely something that I instilled in my own boys. And of course, I'm going to instill it with.
All right. So before we kick off everything that we're going to be talking about, what's been on your heart and mind lately?
Oh, what's been on my heart and mind? Really, the book. The book. It's been quite a journey, It's been a two years in the making of me writing and kind of putting it to the side, then coming back to it, then putting it to the side. And finally somebody gave me a good push to say, let's make it through the finish line. So I'm really excited about that.
So I could imagine you are campaigning right now, doing multiple interviews, appearances, hugging
Yes.
necks, kissing baby, getting the word out.
Yes, you're right.
So after all your years of working with the children and families, what do you hope people understand most about the emotional impact childcare lives?
I think that the biggest thing I could tell you is that parents sometimes expect more from childcare providers than they do from themselves. I can even give you an example. We had a parent that seemed to nitpick everything. Miss D, I noticed that she could have wiped that table. She could have did this. She could have did that. And ironically enough, she invites me to her daughter's birthday party. And I said, let me go and show support. And I went to the party. I brought a gift. And when I got into her apartment, I let me just say, couldn't believe that this was the same parent that was nitpicking. And I'm just going to put it like this. I could not believe the environment, especially having a party. I'll leave it there.
Me, I want to know more. Could you describe the scene?
Let's just say it was not tidy. I did not feel comfortable. Oh gosh, should I say it? I did not feel comfortable eating there. It was definitely not. You know how you imagine how someone lives because of what you get to witness with them? It seemed like that.
I think I understand what you mean. I was somewhere and I have a beard. Of course, it's going to leave behind some hair.
Okay.
And I think this time I just forgot to clean up the 3 strands that did fall out of it. And this person had a over strand hair, beard hair. But I was like,
Wow.
looking around, why are you tripping over 3 hairs when this is like
Hairs.
this is like that? And they said, well, it's my own filth. And I was like, oh, I guess I don't understand that.
Right.
I was like, okay, well, you have it. But so here to talk about Daycare Chronicles.
Yes.
This title, I believe will instantly react to. So, what inspired you to finally tell these stories publicly? I know you mentioned
Oh,
that
wow.
someone believed in the vision and finally gave you the push after months, maybe years of delay.
Yeah.
I won't say procrastinate.
Yeah.
Because
Thank
we
you.
have, life be life sometimes, and some
That's
things
right.
come before other things. As time progressed, there's things that fill our lives right now. I couldn't even imagine for myself sitting down to write a book. So
Yeah.
hats off to pulling it off.
Thank you. Well, I definitely have to first give props to the bishop of my church, because she was the one that told me, you got a book inside of you need to write it. And then I have a friend named Tammy, and she and I would hook up once a month and just have dinner and catch up on each other's lives. And of course, every time I came to the table, I was giving her the wow, behind the scenes stories, and the look on her face was always like, this didn't really happen. There's no way that happened. And I used to say the punchline to the book, you can't make this up. And and she said, you know what? I think you need to put pen to paper, and I think you need to write this book. And here I am years later.
Here you are, and we're glad that you
Yes.
did. I can't wait for stories myself.
Oh, yeah.
Was there a particular moment where you realized people would never believe this kind of stuff?
Yeah. Just simply coming home and telling my husband, he'll go, are you serious right now? Telling, like I said, my girlfriends, they would look at me like, you gotta be exaggerating. Even some of the parents who read the book came to me and said, oh my gosh, all of that is going on behind the scenes. And I would shake my head and say, oh yeah, there was a time. Oh yes.
That is wild. So why was now the right time to release this book?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I always say, God has perfect timing. And I'm also going to say that I guess I was able to allocate that time each day and week towards the book. And, like I said in the beginning, I'm not going to say I just sat with the sweat on my brow. There were times I did put the book aside because other things are more important. Like you said, life is life. And then, of course, when I got down to the last couple of chapters, that's when I did receive that big push to say, come on, let's get across the finish line. You got it. And I'm glad I was able to.
Yeah. How long did the whole process from
Years.
writing?
Years.
It's not long.
No, not too long. But it's definitely 39 years in the making, though.
And I can imagine you're still in childcare, right? You still have
I
the
am.
daycare.
I'm a director and owner of Theseedsofharvest of Harvest Academy.
Congratulations. That is
Thank you.
awesome. So awesome. So I can imagine too, there will be more.
Oh, every day.
You said every day. You have characters, huh?
Not every day, but yeah, at least once or twice a month, I got to say this chapter.
Yes. All right. So you worked in childcare 35 years. What has changed most about parenting over the day?
Oh, wow. Let me tell you, I was saying this to my husband. When I first started off in childcare, the parents that I cared for their children, they were old. So in many ways, I felt myself saying yes, ma'am, and yes, sir to them in a respectful way, like they were older. And the children definitely, I have to say, were more respectful. Then I went through the generation of parents that were my age. But I'm going to tell you nowadays, I guess it's an older thing. I find that I'm always directing parents at the door, calling them into my office and having conferences. Let me just give you an example. A child walks in the door at 8 o'clock in the morning with a lollipop. We should not be getting high on sugar that early in the morning. And so I will tell the parent, can you please remove the lollipop from your child? And the parent will look at me and say, oh no, she's going to flip out on me. Can you do it? And I just think what scares me the most is that I think that parents are becoming their children's friend as opposed to parenting.
Yeah. As someone tried all styles of parenting, especially based on the way I was raised.
Yes.
I think new generation of parents are more so like, I don't want my child growing up hating me.
Yeah.
But hindsight, now that I'm the age I am now, I'm like, you know what? That was wrong. I shouldn't. Well, I mean, I would care if my child liked me or not, but it's also my job to steer them in the way that they should go.
Right.
And if I'm not setting the boundaries of that, that's all.
There you go. Yes. Yes, and that's kind of where I stand too, because I have parents that tell me, hey, I do gentle parenting. I don't believe in beatings, spankings, I don't like to raise my voice, and that's absolutely fine. And I'll give them some tips on how to use gentle parenting, but at the same time being stern in the point that you're trying to make. Sometimes it's as simple as removing something from the child and explaining to them why it's being removed until their behavior changes. Things of that nature. But like you just finished saying, a lot of parents just don't want to be the bad guy in the picture. But my next book that I want to write, honestly, it's called A Healthy Dose of the Word No. Because a lot of our kids look at us like, at least look at even us at the daycare. Like, what do you mean no, when they fall apart? And we have to learn at times to say to our child, I'm sorry, no, we're not going to the playground. Or no, you're not going to eat dessert before eating your dinner. These are things that I feel a lot of our parents are afraid of that word. But if you don't say no now, somebody else is going to give them a bigger no, and they're not.
That part. I think sometimes we can get concerned about who our child is now.
Yeah.
But more importantly is who our child is becoming. And if they're not handling, like you said, if they're not handling no well right now, just imagine the biggest disappointment of their life is going to be.
Absolutely.
And now they're depressed because the answer was no when they were expecting to receive everything in the world they ever asked for.
That's it.
And that's just not the way life works.
It does not.
Life will keep coming and keep walking.
Oh, yeah. And I have weekly meetings with parents where I'm giving them tips. I even put them in situations where I say, no, I'm not going to say it. You are. Tell your child that no, cannot bring their personal toys into the daycare. And I mean, it's amazing to me, the look on their faces like, oh God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you making me the bad guy? And I tell them, just like I said before, if they can't handle something as small as this toy being removed, imagine what's going to happen in life. So they have to be able to handle the bitter with the sweet.
So, first of all, you said your next book. So it seems like that fire is burning. Congratulations.
Yeah,
on that.
there's always new ideas going on in my head. I would love to do a Daycare Chronicles too, but that I definitely want to write for parents, just a healthy dosage of the word.
Yeah. And then as a director, it seems like that you're also offering parenting in
Yes,
some form and fashion.
yes.
Is that from experience, or or is education come along? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. I'm a mother of 5 boys. And I also, I speak to parents probably daily about a variety of different topics, subjects, everything from potty training to taking electronic devices from their child. I mean, these kids walk in like little robots, holding tablets, holding their parents' phone, things like that. I want to see, I love the fact that our kids can go outside and play,
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Yes. And it sounds like we're dealing with the generation of parents that their parents worked all the time.
Oh, yes.
You see, you know what I'm saying? There was a period in time where just parents were working.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree with I do believe that, but I also believe that we're in a generation also where parents believe I'm not going to do what my parent did to me. Not realizing, it took me many years to look back and say, it was good that my mother put me on punishment. It was good that I got that spanking. I'm not saying I'm for spanking for all my gentle parenters, but I am saying that sometimes we need that more stern parenting style in order to have children that are going to work hard, dedicated, understand that things go up and down, life goes up and down, that, our job is to make sure that our children are in this world.
And that is the job with yourself.
Oh, amen.
So what challenges are child care providers facing today that people don't fully?
Oh, boy. I got to tell you, gaining parents. I think that's one of the bigger things because even when I do training with my teachers, one of the things that I do is I bring up certain questions to them, like if you could change any dynamic of the daycare, what would it be and why? And sometimes I look for them to say, oh, I want more money, or no. They actually say things that are more thoughtful, like, you know what? I wish that when I talk to the parent and ask them to do a reading assignment or stick with the potty schedule, or, I discuss a certain behavior with them, that they would be my backup at home, because I mean, we had a child, I'll never forget it, that actually said to the teacher said, I'm going to talk to mommy about what she did. And she said, so what is mommy?
Wow.
That's a scary thing. And I think back, you told me you was telling my mother, I'm begging you on my hands and knees not to.
Likewise.
Exactly.
Anything but that. I'll wash the dishes, mop the floors.
Yeah, it
do whatever
is.
you want me to do. Not tell my dad.
We need to just have I think parents need a healthy dose of respect. They have to have that because it helps daycares. It helps the school system. I don't know if you even pay attention to teachers on TikTok. They all are saying the same thing. Like, I just need the parents to back me up. They're not getting.
Yeah. I am one of those parents changing.
Okay.
Because I see for that. So my firm grip is tightening.
Okay.
And I'm also those parents who is aware that, we're working 8 hours. They're in school 8 hours. After all that is other things in the house, and that leaves little time for parent-child interaction or interactivity.
Okay.
And they're getting most of the parenting from school. I'm not saying particularly.
I agree with
yeah.
that to a certain extent, but there is still the power of mom and the power of. I even I've heard that same remarks from parents that are at our daycare. They said, well, they're here more than they're, and I always tell them, interaction starts from the moment you get in the car after the child. And you start talking to them about you ask them thoughtful questions. What did you eat for dinner? I mean, what did you eat for lunch? What did you eat for breakfast? What was the letter of the week? Like we'll send a newsletter home with the parents so they can kind of follow along to what we're teaching the children at the school. So just asking them questions, and you know what? Even listening to them chatterbox. That is interaction. You're going to hear things in between every sentence that you may need to pay attention to. Even if they're complaining about a friend, my friend hit me, oh no, what happened? And then ask them, did you hit them back? Did you tell them what the teacher say? Things of that nature. But that interaction should definitely start in the vehicle. I know a lot of parents say they don't do the table setting, dinner, but I think it's still important today. I think that because that is yet another time where you can have that interaction with your child and the other family. Just hearing about everybody's day and so on.
Ooh, newsletter, what is that?
Oh.
Newsletters. I'm just playing. I read the news.
Oh, okay.
So what concerns you most about modern family dynamic?
Modern family. I think my main thing is mom and dad working together, whether they're together or not. I think that would be one of the things that I would bring up. Whether they're together or not, still working as a functional unit, knowing that they have to bring this child up, regardless of how they feel about it. I think that would be one of my things.
More parent collaboration.
Yes,
we need
absolutely.
it. So, on to the fun stuff. Your stories and chaos, humor, heartbreak, resilience. How did you emotionally process tense situations while still caring for children daily?
That's a great question. I'm going to say prayer. Prayer, and faith. Oh my gosh, if I didn't believe God, my Lord, where would I be? But I'm going to tell you one of those stories that really blew my mind. It's actually, I believe, the second chapter of the book. I started off as an in-home daycare. I have to say that when I moved into this particular apartment, I didn't have a lot of furniture, obviously. And when I started building the daycare, I paid more attention in buying daycare stuff than I did actual furniture for myself. And thank God the daycare started booming and started doing good. And I had this neighbor that was upstairs from me, and oh my gosh, I looked up to her. When I went upstairs into her apartment, it was so exotic. It was beautiful. The way she had to set it up, the way, the color schemes, everything was so beautiful. And I constantly complimented her on her place. And as business started getting bigger and better, I was able to buy myself a bedroom set. And then I was able to buy myself a kitchen table for my kitchen, and it was weird because every time I had a furniture delivered, my neighbor was sitting outside staring. And I'm not talking about the kind of stare with pride because I thought we were really good friends. It was a stare like every time I turn around, something coming up in here. So me and her were on the porch one day. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And all out the blue, don't even ask me what we were talking about. She just interrupted me. She said, I just want you to know, money is not everything. And I said, amen, you're right. I said, but money pays the bills. And I said it like jokingly. And she just was like, I just want you to know you are not all that, sweet. Don't think that you, she just like went off on me, got up and walked. And I just sat there on the porch like, what in the world just happened? Well, I didn't think much of it. I'm thinking she was going to come to me later and say, hubby was driving me crazy or something, to excuse the behavior. Well, that Tuesday, my doorbell rings. And I answer the door, and it's the state. Now, I knew they already did their inspection, so now I'm like, why are you here? And I'll never forget what they said to me. They said, we received an anonymous call that you were serving the children dog food. And I said, what? So, of course, they had to come in. They had to do their full investigation, checking my cabinet, seeing if I had dog food. I said, sweetie, you're not going to find dog food because I don't even have a dog. And ironically, this is the irony, just to show you how God works. I had prepared fried chicken, collard greens, mac and cheese, and cornbread for the kids that day. Ironically, so they were all sitting around eating their little cornbread, and she would take, I think she took two of the older kids and said, did you ever eat dog food? And they were laughing and said, no, silly. They were saying things like that to the lady. And then she felt embarrassed. And she said, I am so sorry that this came up. But she said, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I think it's somebody that's watching you closely and is definitely not in your corner. So just be careful of the company you keep. And I said, that ain't nothing but a message from God. Oh, yeah.
Why are people like that?
I have no idea. But it happened. It happened.
And this story is in the book.
That is chapter. Yes.
Oh. All right. Wow. All right. So, have there been moments where you nearly walked away from the industry?
Yes. Absolutely.
Can you tell us about some of those?
Oh boy, I remember making one of the worst/best decisions of my life. I moved into a building, we were doing really well, and something in me was saying, do not try to expand. But the other side of me was thinking about, oh my gosh, I got 3 buildings all on 5 acres of land. Oh, this is going to be crazy. I definitely need to do it. And so I took a gamble and I put it on that building and immediately started telling parents in the state and everyone that I was moving in there. I was able to retrieve a temporary license because it used to be a previous elementary school. Well, by the time they came to do the state inspection, they found so many things that were absolutely wrong with the building that literally I had to shut it. And it was like losing 2 daycares in one. And I went back home, doing in-home daycare, but my mindset was gone. I literally was at a point where I was thinking, this is just not for me. I think I'm going to go into the elementary schools and become a teacher. And literally, my parents showed up. They showed up to my house. They had their kids. They were like, no, you're going to keep on teaching these kids. You're going to get these kids reading. You're going to do what God called you to do. It's going to be all right. And, slowly but surely, I got my morale back up. And I started loving what I was doing all over again. I fell back in love with childcare. And at that moment, one of my clients, who is now such a wonderful friend, big shout out to Colleen. She found the building that I'm in now. And she said, I need you to come look at this building. And at the time, I actually said, "No, I'm happy. I'm just going to keep the daycare home. I don't want to do nothing big no more." She said, "No, that was your lesson. Now come get the blessing. Come and look at this building." And I mean, I was looking for any or anything to stop myself from doing it, but God just kept opening doors to make sure that I got that building. I'm still there.
Shout out to Colleen.
Yes, Colleen.
Those are some hard lessons.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. But wow. Childcare workers often become emotional support systems for an entire family. What emotional weight comes with that responsibility?
Ooh. T.D. Jakes once did a sermon where he was talking about the 3 different type of people in your life. That you have intimate people in your life, you have surrogates, and then you have your intimate. And of course, intimate is like your immediate family, the family that sees you without the makeup, without, you just be bumming around the house. They know you in and out, and they love you no matter what. But the part that got me is the other person. The people that love you until something goes wrong. That is what I constantly teach my teachers. Remember, these parents love you because of everything you do day to day for these kids. But God forbid something goes wrong, you will be the number one enemy. So please don't get caught up in the love rapture. I often. Yeah. But yes, you get me, my heart always is for the kid. I gotta be honest with you. There are parents that I fall in love with, but the children, my God, they got my heart. I cannot stand to see a child leave our daycare, whether they're moving or whatever the case may be. Or like this weekend, we have graduation. It's going to be a sad time for me because I know they're moving to elementary school.
Yeah, I could imagine. There's a lot of graduations and ceremonies going on right now. So beyond the chaos, your book also carries moments of joy. What moment reminded you that your work?
Oh my God. I think the last chapter, I thought it was so important to him. Our daycare, because of COVID, we were losing kids like left and right. And for obvious reasons, parents were scared. They didn't know what this COVID mess was. And we barely prop instruction except put a mask on, wipe everything down, But we were losing a lot of kids, so much so that I had to make a decision to shut the daycare down at that time temporarily until we received more guidance on what to do. And everybody was scared during the time. I did reopen 2 months later. And I got to tell you, it's like maybe 15, 20 that returned and 3 teachers that returned. And we were in jeopardy of losing the building. We were in deep jeopardy. And I remember sitting in the office like, I don't know what to do. I've exhausted our savings. I exhausted, any kind of funding that we received. I didn't know what to do. One of my parents happened to see my face, and God bless her, she said, "What's going on?" And I told her I may have to close permanently to the daycare. And she said, "No, we're going to do fundraising. We're going to do what we got to do because we need you in the community." And I thought it was so sweet that she said that, but I didn't take it seriously until I watched the parents outside selling cakes and other parents in the kitchen because, my morale was so low. And then the big thing happened. one of my favorite couples. They had 3 kids that are, well, they still come to our daycare for the after school. But at the time, they were actually in the daycare time. And they came into my office and they were holding hands. And they said, the Lord told us that we got to help you. And I'm sitting there looking at it. I was like, well, thank you, you know. And they said, tell me the money amount that's going to keep things running for the next couple of months. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I can tell them this money amount. They'll go running out of here, you know. But I did. And they cut the check right there.
Wow.
I will never forget that as long as I live. And I was like, okay, we got to work out a payment plan. They said, nope, for the next year, our kids are going to come to your daycare for free because it equated to the same amount. But I did one better. When the year was up, I told them their oldest child, they would never have to pay a dime of child care for the rest of their stay with. And I love you, Chris and Ashley Maxwell. I love you.
Shout out to the Maxwells.
Yes.
So you mentioned something when people would say those kind things to you. I won't say that you dismissed them, but it's kind of like, all right, well, thank you. Is it because when people say kind things, they rarely follow through?
Yeah. You know, a lot of the book that Daycare Chronicles, a lot of it is a lot of things that went crazy. People saying one thing and doing another. And sometimes, you know, my husband used to do this to me. He used to put a black dot on a white piece of paper. And he would say to me, what do you see? And I would say, I see that black dot. He said, but you don't see all this white around it? You don't see this piece of paper, you just see that black dot. And he says, that's why it's important to remember that all the white part is all the good things that are happening. So I say that to say that maybe sometimes I focus in on, okay, what's the catch to this? You know, that type of thing. Or, oh, they're not really going to follow through. And I honestly got to say, I saw the biggest hearts that I ever seen in my parents during that time.
I love it. And you know, some stories in the book are almost unbelievable. Was there ever a moment you had to stop and laugh to survive the stress?
Yeah. I'll tell you one story out of because even when I say the story, people. But I hired a teacher, and she ended up being so incredible, not just in the classroom, but assisted me personally with the business. That she wore 2 hats. She would open up the school for me in the morning at 5:30, and then at 8:30 she would go back in the classroom. And I thought I had found my Robin to my Batman. I loved her. I thought she was amazing. She was the one who actually came up with the idea, like, look, Miss D, you need to rest. Let me open the daycare. You shouldn't be coming to the school so early every day. So I finally gave in and allowed her to do the opening. Well, then that's when everything started going to the... I had parents that, you know, there's certain children in our school who have dairy diets. You can only imagine, gluten-free. There's certain kids that can't drink certain milks. And, you know, of course, we have a list in every classroom as to, you know, the directions on how to ensure that that child is being fed and taken care of properly as far as diet. And I had this one parent that me and her was so cool. I would walk in the door at 9:30 and she would start sucking her teeth at me and walking out. I would stop and say, you okay? I'm fine. Are you okay? You know, things like that. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this woman? And then one day I literally pulled him to my office. I said, no. Whatever this is, we need to have discussion. So she said, you know what? That's all right. You're right. I need to tell you how I'm feeling. So your assistant basically told me that she conveyed to you, I don't want my child eating chicken. I don't want my child having regular waffles. I send the gluten-free waffle, and that you would throw it away and give my child whatever the regular menu is. And I don't appreciate you doing that. I'm just sitting there like, are you kidding me? None of that happened. So, of course, I got another teacher to substitute for my so-called assistant, and she came into the office, and she said, go ahead, tell Miss D to her face what she's doing and how you've been saving the food and giving it to my child. If it wasn't for you, my child... And she said, what are you talking about? Looked the parent dead in the face and said, what are you talking about? And the parent was like, you know what you said to me. Don't sit here and play crazy. And then I said, I tell you what, I had to bring the situation down. I told mom I reassured her child will always get the proper diet. And I also told her that I need to have a talk with the assistant. Now, this is a funny thing. Another parent was waiting outside for me. So I didn't get a chance to talk to the assistant right away. And that parent was telling me a similar story, that the assistant was saying that her child couldn't drink almond milk. She had to drink cow's milk like everybody else. I said, you got to be. And I never understood to this day why she was doing that. And once again, in front of the parent, she would deny it. So, of course, it was obvious. I had to terminate this young lady. She was definitely trying to sabotage me, And so I called her in my office and I told her, this is not going to work, sweet. Thank you for everything that you brought to the business, but I am going to be letting you go. And she flipped out. She was like, this is my job. This is what I do. I work with kids. You going to let two parents sit there and lie to you? And I said, unfortunately, I've known those parents for quite some time, and they have never given me any indication that they had a reason to lie. So unfortunately, I'm letting you go. So she went to pick up her 2-year-old daughter that was in the classroom. She walked out the door, and I just thank God. Something in me said, lock the door. So I locked the front door after she walked out, and she was standing outside of the car, and you could tell that she was changing her baby's diaper, okay? She then comes back to the door. She's trying to open the door, and she was like, let me in here. And I was like, no, sweetie, it's time for you to go. You got to go. Do you know she opened up that diaper with the poop in it and smeared it all over my door? Smeared it all over my door. So I called the cops. Cops came. She was still standing. And the cops told me to get some cleaners, paper towels, rags, whatever, because she wasn't going to leave there until she cleaned it. And yes, she did clean it. Now, here's the funny part. 2 months later, I'm in Publix supermarket with my husband. I told my husband, I said, I'm going to go to the deli. I'm in the mood for a turkey and cheese sandwich. And I go up to the deli, and who's behind the counter?
Who?
My old assistant. So she turns around and looks at me as if nothing happened. She goes, hey, Miss D, it's so good to see you. Oh my God, you're looking good. Oh, I see that you put in for a turkey cheese sandwich. Let me make it for you. I said, no, ma'am, you good. I'm good. I do not want that sandwich. You have a nice life. I walked off.
People are nuts. Wow.
Yeah. So those are the kind of stories I'm talking about.
Wow, it's like as a director or owner of a company, you have to almost think like a mob boss sometimes, because you never know who's in your garden.
Yep, and what I also had to learn over time is that when you're in the hiring process, you can't hire nobody. You can't do it. You've got to make sure that they let their guard down. is the person that you meet when the guard is down, that's who you really got. So I always do a 45-day hiring period where you are under surveillance on every angle. So I can make sure that you are the right fit. And once you have passed that 45-day, I even have a parent council that assists me. And I ask them, hey, how is so-and-so working out in that class? They'll give me their yay or nay. And that is how I do my hiring process now.
Your hiring process is second to none.
Yeah, you got to these days because, you know, people can hide. I don't care. I took an interview class when I was in high school. Anybody can interview.
Yeah.
They can tell you all the beautiful things and accolades and this and that. And then when they get the job, you're like, wait, that's not what you said, you know? So that's why we had to think about it from a different point.
Yeah. All right. Your book is raw and honest. Did the vulnerability ever feel risky while writing it?
Yes, still is. Still is. Sometimes I wonder, you know, like if a teacher's gonna say, is she talking about me? Or if a parent's gonna say, is she talking about me? But it is.
It's your story too. You're
That's right.
allowed to
That's
tell
right.
Your version.
Yes, sir. You're right.
Yeah. So after 35 years, what still gives your work meaning today?
Somebody gotta get them on the right path. Somebody gotta do it. And as long as God gives breath, I want to be one of the many. And now I'm getting into a new phase in my life where I want to help others to do it. You know, I believe in learning through play. I do believe in it, but I also believe that children need to learn how to write first and last name. Need to know how to read. Need to know how to do math computation. They should have some sort of exposure to a foreign language, you know, science and things of that. And then I am a big believer in dance and karate, culinary arts, and having that part of your well. And that is what we do at our school. And I'm now in the process of training other schools on looking into how to do these things and implement them in your career.
I love that. All right, guys, I'm going to show you things from the book, and then we'll come back with our final remarks. But I show this real quick. Here it is, Daycare Chronicles. You can't make this ish up. Copy Barnes & Nobles or Amazon. We will include those links in the description of this episode, so you can grab your copy. We also have a website. You want to leave a comment, a message for Miss, and let her know what these stories you. Maybe you run a daycare, and maybe you're experiencing something similar. Well, I think your dose of reality here is like, wow, this could be a reality. But you know, kids' privacy is at stake. So I don't see that happening unless they're good actors. I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works. Here it is, guys. Daycare Chronicles. Pick up your copy.
The first day of daycare was supposed to be simple. Just a woman, a small apartment, and a heart full of hope. She cleaned every corner, arranged every toy, and prayed everything would go right. Then the doorbell rang. Standing outside was her first parent, with a shocked look on her face, holding the hand of a silent little boy. But it wasn't the child that terrified her. It was what the mother was pointing at, down the hallway. The moment she looked, she could not believe what she was witnessing. Some stories sound too unbelievable to be true, until they happen to you. Daycare Chronicles. You can't make this based on shocking real events. Reserve your copy today. Available now on Amazon.
And this one's my favorite. I get a kick out of this. I watched it so many times. I showed my wife, I was like, look at this. This is so fun. Check it out.
The daycare provider spent the morning doing an art project with the children.
Man, I really could use an assistant.
That evening, while sitting on the porch, she vented to her friend about needing another set of hands.
I'll be happy to be your assistant. I'm not doing anything.
The daycare provider got excited and spent the rest of the evening discussing curriculum and payment. That Monday, the assistant showed up bright-eyed and ready with a notebook. The daycare provider showed her around and explained the daily routine. By day 3, things began to change.
Can you please help me clean up and set up the next activity?
The assistant got up with an attitude and reluctantly helped clean. During circle time, the daycare provider struggled to keep the children focused. Meanwhile, the assistant sat on the couch scrolling on her phone.
I need you to get off the phone because we need to set up our next project.
The assistant got up huffing and puffing with an attitude.
I need to run out for a minute. Please follow the schedule. I'll be right back. Okay.
20 minutes later, everything was in complete disarray.
What is going on in here? Ha!
The assistant immediately started cleaning up.
We need to talk. I feel like you're making good money and we should split the pay. Girl, are you crazy? I'm sorry, but I don't think we're a match. I hope this doesn't ruin our friendship, but I no longer need you to assist me in the daycare.
Some lessons come with experience. Daycare Chronicles. You can't make this shit up. Reserve your copy today. Available now on Amazon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. You cannot make this up. I was like, the nerve. The day 3?
Yeah, day 3.
That is wild. Yeah, I got a kick out of that. All right. So for someone listening tonight who's overwhelmed, exhausted, or emotionally drained from caring for others, whether as a parent, teacher, caregiver, or childcare worker, what's one truth to hold on to when the days feel impossible?
Definitely taking a few moments to yourself. There's times that I feel overwhelmed at the daycare and I literally know I have to go in my office and just kind of woosah. And sometimes it's prayer. Sometimes it's just simple meditation, putting on some ocean sounds or something of that nature. With my teachers, I do what's called a health check-in. I check in on them. How's everything? They know to be honest with me. Don't tell me nothing. Everything's fine. No, it's not, because all of us have that point where we just need to get away for a second. And when I see it, or I think I'm seeing it, I let the teachers, walk away for a moment and just kind of get their breath and their thoughts and together. Daycare, I'm just going to say teaching in whole, because I have a lot of friends in, that are high school, middle school, and elementary school. I got to say that it's not for the faint, but I also want to say it's one of the most rewarding fields that there are. I mean, I just watched one of my kids that I used to watch many years ago accepted to school. And to hear mom say it started with you, that meant the world to me. And it's in times like that when you look at all the craziness, you say, you know what, it was worth it.
That's so much. All right. Where can our listeners connect with you on the internet and pick up copies of the book?
Yeah, well, you can find the book, Daycare Chronicles. You can't make this ish up. It is now on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. I will make sure that the link is, I'm assuming, below. And you can also connect with me by going to our website, my website. It's Dochingozi.author.com. And that link will be below as
Right. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Tonight's conversation reminded us that childcare is far more than supervision. It's emotional labor. It's leadership, patience, protection, and often unsacrificed. These stories remind us that people helping shape children's lives today are carrying experience the world rarely hears about. But absolutely, make sure you check out Daycare Chronicles. Can't make this ish up, and connect with Dee to hear more of the unbelievable, heartfelt, and deeply human stories behind her journey. Because sometimes real life. Absolutely. Also, before we let you go, what would surprise the most about running daycare?
Surprising? That's a good question. Surprise. I guess it would be the crazy stories that happen behind the scenes, the sacrifices that the teachers make, and even myself. Like, for example, we're having a graduation this coming Saturday. And, if you knew the cost of this graduation, you would say, well, why don't you just do it at the school and let the kids walk across the front of the classroom and get their little diploma. But when we put on a graduation, it is a production, literally. And so the kids are doing different performances, and we just go all out for the parents. And, what I guess what shocked them is what the cost of it.
So when you say all out production, what does that look like?
Oh, well, the kids, we have a dance class. We have a teacher named Miss June's Ballet. Shout out to Miss June's Ballet. She comes in once a week and she does dance routines that the children perform for the she did a special routine just for graduation. And then, of course, we got to do costumes and everything that goes along with that. They are also getting trophies for their graduation, and we rented out Stars and Strikes. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like a bowling / arcade place. But they have these beautiful, huge private party room. And so we just transitioned the party room into a graduate.
That color scheme, all that as well?
All of it.
What's this year's color scheme?
Oh, it's purple and gold.
All right. Purple and gold, I love it. Sounds royal.
That's what my baby.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see if I can put up the link right here real quick, just so that whoever is that. No, they won't let me. That's all right. All right. Yeah. Nope. All right. It's okay. Don't worry, guys. I will put it in the chat. I mean, not in the chat, but in the description of this episode and in the show notes. And somehow I'll make it appear on screen, so no worries about that. All right, Ms. Thank you so much for being our special guest tonight. It was truly an honor.
Thank you. It's been an honor being here with you, having the full conversation.
Welcome. So happy to have you. All right. Well, we'll give you back your night and hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Peace to all. My name is Dini, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club, but there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you to get into. Life is short, but there are plenty of moments to try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tougher. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious. Or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Whodini Blak Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.